Mirar is the father of Marni. So.
Well, good morning, everybody. Jed, J-E-D, Stone, S-T-O-N-E, I'm Marni Yang's lawyer. This morning, Judge Christopher Stride entered an order that is an important day in the ultimate exoneration of Marni Yang. He found that our petition for post-conviction relief alleging actual innocence has merit and states a constitutional claim. This is a big step towards exoneration. Our petition does have merit, and it does state a constitutional claim, and I believe will ultimately exonerate Marni Yang. The state was given until February 20th to file a response. I expect them to file a motion to dismiss. We'll litigate that motion to dismiss. I'll have 30 days to reply to their response, and we'll have a hearing probably sometime March or April. The judge also gave me until January something, 15th I think, to file a motion for issuing subpoenas. There are a number of very discreet, very specific subpoenas that I want to issue. We're not on a fishing expedition. We're looking for specific and soon to be itemized things. I'm confident that the judge will allow that. The state filed what's called a 217 motion. It's called 217 after Rule 217, which says that the proponent of DNA evidence, and in this case, we are the proponent of DNA evidence, has to provide the receiving end certain bona fides of the tester and the testing that was done. We're happy to do that. Our tester is Dr. Carl with a K, Reich. Dr. Reich is one of the preeminent DNA experts in the world, and I'm confident we can provide the state with everything that we need to have Dr. Reich come into court and explain the DNA in this case, which exonerates Marni. If anyone has any questions, I think we'll wait until Terry and Mr. Ferrara talk. Thank you. And by the way, Merry Christmas.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Terry Myers, M-Y-E-R-S. I'm the investigator into the death of Rodney Ryder, and we have, at this point, proven through our investigative efforts that Marni is not the killer. We have basically taken out every piece of evidence from the first trial, which she was convicted, and looked at that, and we've determined that none of that evidence will stand up in a new trial with our investigative work. We are also attempting to find the killers of Marni Yang. We're attempting to find the killers of Marni Yang. We are trying to find the killers of Rodney Ryder. We're not just trying to get Marni Yang out of prison. So we're asking for anyone's help. If they have any information on this case, and we know it's out there, we know there's information, please call MSI Detective Services, toll free, 888-338-4545. Thank you very much, and now I'd like to introduce Larry Morrow.
I believe that the court today made an important step forward. Finally, Marni, Skylar, and the Ryder family will see the justices on the horizon, as well as the voters and taxpayers of Lake County. Thank you very much.
I'm reminded by one of my colleagues that it's Rule 417, not 217. I don't think anyone really cares, but I want to correct this. This Does anyone have any questions? No questions.
Mr. Millard, question.
Yeah.
Obviously, you haven't been able to talk to Marni to tell her about this news, but how do you expect she's going to receive this news, and how do you think she's doing at the moment?
I think that the judge's decision is going to be uplifting for her, because until you've been in the situation that Marni is, and the other people know, there are the respondents who didn't feel on a day-to-day basis, and lack of both experience in a situation like this. It needs some good news. Either on paper or hopefully on an ongoing basis, because that's what keeps these people going. And the hope that justice will be served. Again, not only mine, but the victim, my child, my family.
How would you characterize how she's been throughout this, since you began this little process? How would you characterize how she is feeling, how her sense about it?
It's difficult to be optimistic when you're incarcerated in situations like that. I visited on a regular basis, and it's just depressing. And the idea that you're spending the rest of your life like this for a crime that you didn't commit, that's pretty debilitating to anybody. But Marni is a strong woman and intelligent person, so you can have a conversation with her relative to explaining on what's going on. And the legal system, of course, like a Malaysia. Not like a shop story. But Marni's better. We should get her. And hopefully, before too long, she'll be enjoying Thanksgiving.
Thank you all.
Mr. Stone, for people who didn't follow this case closely, how did we get here to this point, and has she proclaimed her innocence?
Sir. She has proclaimed her innocence. She was interrogated by the police and consistently maintained her innocence. The only switch of that was when she learned that the police were going to issue a warrant for the arrest of her 16-year-old son. And when she heard that, she embarked upon what I can only call a harebrained plan to tell her friend, who she knew was wearing a wire, that a wire put on by the police, that she, Marni, had committed the crime, and she expected to get arrested and eventually was arrested. She did that to protect her son. As in many false confession cases, the challenge for me was to compare the story that she told to her friend with the immutable true facts of the crime. And when they didn't mesh, we knew it was a false confession, and we're presenting that to the judge. The problem with this case was threefold. One, the police abandoned an independent and thoughtful investigation of the case and focused on Marni and decided to pin the case on her some 2.5 years later without a single bit of forensic evidence. But for the statement to her friend, there would have not been a trial of Marni A. Two, her lawyers failed to challenge at all the evidence that was presented by the prosecution. For example, the prosecution played a videotape of a car from a surveillance camera on a Shell gas station. And they said that car was the car that Marni had rented and put her at the area at about the time of the murder. It went into evidence at the trial without challenge, by stipulation. The problem? It's not the car. It's not even the same make or model of car. It's not even the same year of car, and it wasn't Marni's car. Now, if the defense accepts the facts as facts given by the prosecution and doesn't challenge them, we have a recipe for a wrongful conviction. So number one was a fear and false confession. Number two, no challenging of the evidence. And the third and final point is that the prosecutors hid the ball. They hid exculpatory evidence from the defense. They compelled witnesses to tell false narratives. They put on perjured testimony, all of which is contained in our petition, and all of which is supported by the 700+ pages of documents we attached to the petition. This case is a classic recipe for a wrongful conviction, and we're unraveling it. If it had 3 legs to stand on, like a stool, 2 of those legs are broken and 1 of those legs is crumbling. Their stool cannot stand.
Carrie, can I ask you another question?
Sure.
You said that you were searching for the killer, believing that Marni was not the killer. Do you have any suspicions, any leads that would suggest somebody else?
Well, we have a lot of information that suggests that it was not a 5-foot-tall Caucasian woman who was seen at the crime scene. So we know that witnesses who at first said that there was a person described differently than what Marni is, way taller, different color skin, different build, they, for some reason, changed their story later as to what the person seen running in front of the crime scene, running into the crime scene, looked like at the time of the crime. So, to answer your question though, we are looking into it. We do have some leads. We're attempting to follow up, obviously without any type of subpoena power or other powers granted by the court. We're limited in what we can do. Now we're hoping that we'll soon be granted those powers, and Judge Stone will then subpoena certain records, which right now are out of our reach.
Does the team feel like, maybe it's a question for you, that it's important on some level to have a different suspect in mind? Does that help further the case of Marni's innocence?
We would love there to be justice for the victim, as well as exoneration of Marni. It's not our job, it cannot be our job, to convict a guilty person. That's not our function in this process, and there's nothing that we can do. I can't convene the grand jury to call in witnesses, Mr. Nierman, but I can't do that. And so because I'm incapable of advancing a grand jury investigation, all that Mr. Myers and I can do, along with a team of other investigators and private detectives, is put in evidence the evidence that we obtained both through investigation and subpoena power, and present it to the court and to Mr. Nierman. Eventually, hope that the